mean, listen, everybody's on their own path. Everybody makes their own choices. Everybody's in their own world. And so for this writer, these are the elements of truth that they've accepted into their life that define their view of the world, right? Everybody has their own view of the world. Everybody's in their own world. And so, and these are accepted truths that I'll admit, I was in that same exact construct of accepted truths at a prior set of moments in my life. Absolutely. And I'm so grateful to have come to the place, because the past is a binding limitation, and the future is a binding limitation. A future is something that may never or may never happen or may happen, but all you can do is control that now in the choices that you make now. And the past is something that happened, and there are elements that you can learn from, but to constantly be referencing the past and the future without actually being in the now, you're not utilizing the power that exists within your conscious awareness that constitute the law of life that's defined by quantum physics. Like, everything happens now. The only thing that's happening is now. In my miracle story, is there something that happened in the past that came into the present moment that made it all happen beautifully in one moment? Absolutely. But the reality is like, I'm not thinking about it as a past or a future of a construct of time. Are there elements of time that are helpful? Absolutely. Meetings and, having gatherings and all of that. Sure. Deadlines for things to be able to hit, accomplish certain goals. Absolutely. But the reality is you make it what you believe it is. And so the more you allow time to control your life, which time is only a creation of humanity, that is a constraint and a limitation that takes over most of our awareness, that gives us most of the stress, because we always need to be someplace, we always are running someplace, we always are trying to do something within a certain amount of time because we feel that we need to force it. We need to force it. And when you're working on the construct of time as that's driving your life, you are undoubtedly forcing almost everything into your life instead of life, and then allowing those experiences to use you instead of you using them, and realizing that everything happens for a purpose, and you'll never able to get into the flow of life in which you have things happen or you have experiences that you would have never had, that all of a sudden put things into place in which you're now in a new path to which you would have never gotten into if you weren't open and you weren't flowing within life and you were having time be the only thing that defined what you do. So what you believe is what it is. So if you believe you can't exist without functioning solely off of a past and a future, then that's fine. That's your accepted truth. But the reality is you can't do anything about the past, and you really can't predict the future except for the actions that you make in the present moment and what you accept as your truth now. Because only now is when you can make an effect and have an impact upon what may be and what may materialize in the future. Do you want to have desires? Absolutely. Do you want to feel them and experience them as they already happen, so that way you attract them to you? Absolutely. But for you to harbor on them as to when are they happening? When are they happening? Why haven't they happened yet? It's never going to come, because what are you doing? You're accepting the truth now as to you're always thinking about when is it coming instead of it actually being here. So bottom line is, with all due respect, I don't know about these myths. I don't know if the word myth, and it depends on everybody. Everybody has their own, again, like, this is a great example of the fact that everybody has their own view of the world. But the reality, I'll be the first to admit, like, this in my present moment right now, this is how my expressions are, how I genuinely convey and understand and appreciate and live in my life, in the world, in my own world. But what these are defined as myths are absolutely something I accepted just a year ago.